Hello friends and welcome to Mornings at Sunrise Cottage. My name is Vicki Ann and today we're going to give you a front row seat to our moving process. Our son and daughter-in-law got jobs in Lexington, Kentucky, so that meant a move for them. And we decided to move with them so we could help them care for their young son. We'll be keeping him part-time during their work hours. We decided what we really needed to do was to have a yard sale to get rid of things that we would not be taking with us. So we collected all the things from our homes and our outside buildings, and we set up a store of sorts in our living room and then on the outside. And we sold for 3 days. We had a 3-day long yard sale, and it was really hectic. We did real well with our yard sale. We sold everything from furniture to toys to clothing to beautiful dishes to tools. You name it, we sold it. The next thing we did was we started looking for housing. So we each went our own way of finding homes for ourselves. And my husband and I chose to go to Richmond because we thought that would be close enough to Lexington that we could run up and pick up our grandson. And so meanwhile, they went to Lexington and they also went to Georgetown. So long story short, they ended up with a home, and it actually puts them too far away for us to live in Richmond. However, we didn't know that when we went shopping for a home in Richmond. And we looked at different houses, and although you can look at a lot of houses and you can weed through them as to what you want, you really need to go and look at those. And what we found, the first house we went to, it looked like it had a large backyard in the picture. Well, what we couldn't see is that there was a fence between it. So really, it had a very small backyard. What the picture was showing was their backyard and their neighbor's backyard, which joined. So I'm hoping to put some raised beds, 2 or 3, in our backyard, so that just did not work for us. So then we thought we had found the perfect place. It was a beautiful home. It was a really nice walkable neighborhood. It was just gorgeous. Everything was manicured. All the flower beds looked wonderful. All the lawns looked great. Houses were really pretty. And we even went to look at one and we toured it. And we loved the home. It was really nice. And it was not too big for us and it was not too small. It was just right. But what kind of got us were the HOA rules. The HOA, or Homeowners Association, fees were very good. We can't say anything about them being too high. But their rules for a country couple who've always lived without those rules were quite demanding. So, and I understand, we both did, that you have to have rules when there's such a large amount of people living in one little area. But they were just a lot for us to handle, and we were pondering that and wondering if we should put in an offer for the property that we looked at. And then, as life would have it, our son and daughter-in-law got the home in Georgetown. So that kind of put us back to the starting point. But I don't know if a lot of you have shopped for homes in towns and suburbs, but there are rules about what kind of animals you can have, how large, or what breed. Sometimes there are rules about your dog's barking. And we own a Chihuahua who is going to bark. So there are other rules like how many vehicles you can have in your driveway, or what other things you can have in your driveway, like maybe it's a motorhome or a trailer or something like that. Well, for country people, we don't really worry about that because we usually have a big yard and we have a lot of space. So that doesn't really present a problem. And a lot of people in the country feel that your land is your land and your home is your home. You own it, and what you do on that land is your business. But when you are in such a large group of people as you are in housing developments, it's different. And that takes a lot of getting used to. I really do understand that. But it does make it difficult to look for homes, because that is one thing you need to look for if you're moving from one area to the next and you find yourself looking at a home in a subdivision. You need to look at those rules before you ever put an offer in on a house, or ever tie yourself to a contract that you could live to regret. We could probably have lived with the rules there, but it wouldn't have been easy, because we have a small motorhome and we have a trailer. And I really do not want to get rid of either one of them. So as we start over in this process, I am hoping that we can find either a subdivision which would allow those things, or we can find a piece of property in the country near where we're wanting to settle. So we're back to square one. After thinking surely we had found the perfect home, we're back to square one, and we will start the search all over again. The first time we really did not use a realtor. This time I'm thinking we will do things differently and use a realtor, because they know about the homes in the area we are moving to. But before I get to that part, let's get back to the yard sale for a moment. Having a 3-day yard sale is difficult, but when you're selling the volume of items that we were selling, 43 years of items, plus my parents passed away and we have a lot of their items, that became such a stressful and tremendous amount of work you would not believe. So we were using the internet, but by the time that people told us they wanted something on the internet, someone outside may have already purchased that item. Now, I really don't know how you deal with that situation. We just tried to, if they bought it while we were on the internet, there was not a whole lot that we could do about it. And we would have 2 or 3 people on the internet want one thing. So what I tried to do is take it from the top, from the bottom, I guess, the one that had first sent the message that they wanted it. I tried to do it that way, but it was confusing for me, and it was really difficult to keep all that in line and run outside, and we were running the sale outside and inside both, so it was terribly hard to go through 3 days of that. And the second thing was we tried to price things at a low enough amount that people could purchase them. So we tried to give everyone a really good deal that came to shop with us, because not only were we trying to sell items, but we were trying to reduce the volume of items that we had so that we could store or move those items that we want to take with us. Now, what we're going to do next, we did have a great sale though, And for the most part, it went smooth. There were some glitches, but for the most part, it did go smoothly. The next thing that we're going to do after the sale is over, we have a few loose ends that we've got to tie up now because some people are coming back to pick up some items that they purchased and they need a larger vehicle to pick those up in. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to clear out a building and put the things in it that we want to take with us. So we will get those items out, put those in the building, and then we will start going through every piece of paperwork that we have and getting rid of that. We will start a huge donation pile and we will take those to either of two places locally that we donate to. So we will probably have a couple loads of that. And then I'm sure in the buildings that we have and around our house that we will probably have a couple loads to take to the local dump. So we will do that and get rid of the boxes and just papers that we don't need and items that may be broken or parts missing or anything like that. You know the type of thing that I'm talking about. So we're going to do that next. We'll go through all clothing, all dishes. We will go through all Christmas decorations, all decor, anything like that that we have a lot of, and we'll try to take them by groupings so that we're just focused on one thing. For instance, right now I'm focusing on our linens and I'm boxing those up, and we're going to go clean the building out thoroughly. And then we're going to put those boxes in there, and then we'll move on to another area in our home or another category in our home. So once we get everything completely cleaned out, or as much as we possibly can get it cleaned out, then we will move on to maintenance, and we will first of all clean the entire house from one end to the other. We'll clean all windows, doors, facings, trim around the floor, every cabinet door. Every single thing in our house will be cleaned completely. And then we will do repairs. You know, you always have a little something in your house that you need to repair. It might be something that's come loose, or it may be some scuffs on your wall. It could just be any number of things. So we will go back and do those repairs. Then we will move on to more major things. Like, since we did not know that we were moving, we started a couple projects. We will finish those up, get all of that done. And then we already have set a price for our home, and then we will start advertising. And I also have a list of a few people, quite a few actually, that are interested in our house. So then we will contact those people and see if they are still interested in the home. After that, we will set up times for each of them to have an opportunity to come in and look over our house from end to end. And also there's a storage building that's going to be sold with it, so they can look that over also. And after everyone has had time to thoroughly examine our house, they can also choose to have an inspector come in and inspect the home and make sure there's nothing wrong with the home. But the next step after that will be that people, after they've looked at it, I will give them the price as they look at it, and I'll give them a sheet of paper telling all about the home. And after they've looked at that, then they can determine what they want to put in an offer for our home. And then hopefully people will weed themselves out. Maybe some people won't like the house when they look at it. Or maybe some of them it will be above their budget. Or maybe some people will just not want to live in this area. There's a lot of things that goes into buying and selling a home. So after we do all of those things, hopefully we will come to an understanding with some of the people that are looking for homes in this area. And there will be one that stands out and one that wants the home. And we hope it goes to a family that enjoys our home. Then we are going through the process of trying to find a home for ourselves at the same time, with the same goals and the same steps in place. Now, probably the majority of people who will be looking at our house will be familiar with the neighborhood, because a lot of them will probably live in this county. But there may be people that, if we use a realtor, will be coming from other states or could be from anywhere. But most of the people will know and be familiar with the home and with the area. Now, where we're going, we are not familiar with the area. I mean, we've been there, but we've never tried to buy a home there before. So it's going to be a little bit more difficult for us, and we're going to have to sit down and think about what we want in a house. And I think that's a really important step when you're trying to buy a home, is you know what you're looking for. And you need to write those out and make those concrete, like how many bedrooms do you want, how many bathrooms. Do you want gas stoves, a gas stove to cook on, or do you want an electric stove? Do you want a porch? Do you want a deck? What type of siding do you want on your house? How many closets? Do you want a pantry? There are just so many things that you need to think about. And how big do you want your bedrooms? There's just tons of stuff like that you really have to sit down and just take your time and work through. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 3 lists. I'm going to make one list of things that I must have in my home. I'm going to make another list of what I'd like to have in or around my home. And then I'm going to make another list of, like, the cherry on top of the banana split, things that would be just awesome to have. And then I'm going to hope that I get most of my needs, a few of my wants, and it'd be awesome to get something that I would really love to have. Now, an important thing to me is the walkability of where I'm moving, because we're older and we want somewhere we can get out and walk. And it could be a park 3 miles down the road, or it could be something adjacent to the house, or it could be just like a sidewalk around the neighborhood. We're not really picky about what it is, it's just it needs to be walkable. We need to be somewhere that we can take our puppy. And we need to be somewhere that's close to our son. So all those things are things I'm going to be taking into account, along with if I happen to find myself with a homeowners association thing again, I'm going to see if there are things that I just absolutely cannot follow if I live in that community. And that's what you need to do. If in the community you're going to, there's something about it that just rubs you the wrong way, or you know that's going to aggravate you, don't move to that community. Find you another home somewhere else. But I do think that time management is really important. I found that out a long time ago. You have to set your goals on each thing that you do as you're getting ready to move, or you're planning to move into a new home. Write those down. Write your goals down for day one. What do you hope to accomplish that day? And don't make it so difficult that you know you're not going to be able to achieve that goal. If you do, you're going to get frustrated and you will just quit. Make it a workable goal and then really work hard to achieve it. And if you miss it by a little bit, that's okay, because you really gave it your all. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to just sit down and think about exactly what I'm going to do each day. I know I don't have very long to get everything packed up, so I've got to really hit it and get on the move to get that done. And then, in the meantime, I've got to be getting in contact with a realtor to find me a place. So these are just some of the things that has gone through my mind as I've been moving and as I've been getting ready to buy a house as well as sell a house. And recently we sold another property, and we used a company that had a YouTube channel and went all over the United States. So that provided us with a much larger base of people that were looking to buy our property. And we actually ended up selling it to a couple from another state that we would never have met if we'd just gone through a local realtor, or if we had just put it on poster boards or put it on our Facebook or Facebook Marketplace or whatever. So try to be as creative as you can if you're buying or if you're selling a property. And try to think out of the box and think of unique and special ways of letting people know about your home and about property you're selling or the different items you're selling to get ready for your move. And I would love it if some of you that are watching this would give me some more ideas. How can you market your home? How can you have a better yard sale? How can you sell your items? Is there a better way than a yard sale? If any of you know that, please put it in the comments below. If there are certain things that you need to take with you when you move that I've not thought about, put that in the comments below. And on that vein, I want to say that some of the things that I'm going to take with me when I move, if I have a big enough yard, I will take some of the starts from my plants, because some of them I've had for a while and I don't want to lose. So there's just little things like that you want to make sure that you get and take with you. Another thing I would like to ask you to comment on is how, when you go about finding a realtor, there's just a bunch of them on the internet that are advertising in those areas. How do you know which one's the best? How do you go about picking and choosing a realtor? What are the qualities that you would look for in a realtor? And what else would you be looking for in a home? Friends, thanks for stopping by and visiting with us today. And each week for the next probably few months, we'll be each week talking about whatever is happening in our lives at the moment and how much progress we've made. And then I'm hoping to take you along and video some of the homes that we look at, so you can actually see what's out there and the choices that we have, because there doesn't seem to be as many choices as you would think. And I think this is probably more of a seller's market right now, because there's not a lot of homes out there to choose from. And would you, there are homes out there where you can buy a home and they'll build it for you in one of the areas that we're looking at. Would you go with a new home, even if it was slightly higher than homes that are already there? Or would you prefer to have a home in an established neighborhood where they already have their flowers and trees in place and all of that. Give me your comments. Let me know what you think about it. And then you can comment in the weeks and months ahead and kind of give us some guidance. And we would really appreciate that. So after the big old yard sale and after the home search, we went out and just went to Olive Garden and had a lovely meal. Then we drove home exhausted, but having a better idea of what we needed to do. Thanks for joining us. We hope you will join us again next Tuesday. Bye, friends.